Hey guys, so today I want to talk a little bit about Batman. In particular, I want to talk about the massive event recently in comics, which consisted of quite a few, and that's the Gotham War. So, first of all, I want to discuss briefly where we left off Batman. Batman in issue 135, or legacy rating 900, had been left off. He's just finished with Failsafe. He's just had his fight with Failsafe, and he's also just been transported. His fight with Failsafe left him transported to another universe, where he then had to chase down the one sane Joker who was creating all the other Joker variants throughout the DC multiverse, called the Red Hood, which culminated in him losing his hand. And he had to multiverse hop until he fought a giant shark Joker, which was interesting. Then he sent the Joker back to his universe, and he was rescued by Robin. So that leaves us with Batman pretty beaten, but carrying on in issue 136, we have Batman, and he's basically going through a lot of medical exams, and he checks up on everyone. He's also fighting the Batman. In his mind, he keeps locking him away, but it's evident that he can't fight him forever. So Batman goes on, and he catches up with all he needs to catch up with. He catches up with Catwoman and the Bat family. So we've got a nice little Bat family moment right there. And then in his mind, it's showing that actually he's not fine. He thinks that they're all just gonna die, which, well, it sort of happened in a way, but we'll get to that later. So then, after that issue came out, we had the 2-month-long event, which was Night Terrors. Now, I could do a whole separate video on that. I did pick up every issue of that one. So do what you will with that. But point is, Night Terrors happened, and basically there was this new villain called Insomniac. I think that was his name anyway, or Insomnia. And basically he put everyone to sleep. He made nightmares a reality, and he tried to take over the universe, and he was looking for the Nightmare Stone, which then, was it Deadman who found it? So he found it, and that leads into Titan's Beast World, which I have failed to pick up, but I might have to pick up the core issues just to keep up with the times. But basically, the Beast Boy turned into Garo, which is basically Beast Boy as Starro the Conqueror. And there's a whole storyline with Amanda Waller and the Beast infecting everyone else, but that's a different thing. So after Night Terrors ended, we had Batman Day, and I managed to pick up myself a free Batman Catwoman Gotham War prelude. There's not much in here with regards to the story, and that's because it's a couple of pages without the speech bubbles and stuff, from different comics throughout the Gotham War, designed to get you enticed. And then after that, you had Batman and Catwoman, the Gotham War battle lines, which is basically like the Gotham War Part 1. Now, what's happened in Bruce Wayne's absence, or in Batman's absence, is that Catwoman has been training up an army of thieves so that they can do a Robin Hood, basically, and they can take the money from the rich to the poor. They only steal from the rich, they don't hurt anyone. But Bruce Wayne's whole thing is, what if they go to someone like the Joker or the Riddler or Mr. Freeze or Bane or Ra's al Ghul? Then you've got a big problem on your hand. And he's like, crime is crime at the end of the day. You can't be picking and choosing what crimes are okay to do. So him and Catwoman have a little talk. You get a lot of scenes of Catwoman trying to train up her army, and then you see that actually the Bat family are partially, at least, in on it too. And there's this big scene where they're all just standing around talking about how crime and violent crime in particularly is down. And Batman's just like, no, you're missing the point. Crime is crime. Crime is bad. Crime is what leads to the deaths of some of the members of the Bat family's parents. You know, Bruce Wayne's parents died to crime. I think it's Dick Grayson, possibly even Jason Todd. So, you know, they're all part of this crime, and crime is bad. That's basically Batman's standpoint. And in the end, Bruce Wayne's just like, look, stand with me or against me. I'm fighting crime, because he's Batman, and Batman see crime and stop crime, and that's it. Batman's like, you know what, crime's bad. I don't care whether it's good crime or bad crime. Crime is bad, and I will give you one hell of a beating because of it, but I won't kill you. No, killing's bad. So then we have Gotham War Part 2, which is Batman 137, and basically the whole of this arc can be summed up into pretty much Catwoman and the Bat family being like, you know what, this is not right, and crime it's doing good, especially Jason Todd, or Red Hood. He has been particularly an avid partner of Selina Kyle or Catwoman, with being like, yes, this is something that we need to do. We need to, crime rates are lower. This can help solve it. So what's interesting is that at this point in the story, early on, everyone is against Batman. They're all like, Bruce, you need to calm down. You just stop, or we'll have to make you stop. And they do try and make him stop, except they don't, and Batman gets away, and then he's sort of pondering what to do next, and then he runs into Vandal Savage, which is never a good thing. Bearing in mind that whilst this whole Gotham War arc's going on, he's also finding the Zero backup plan in his mind. So he's not thinking straight as it is. So it's a whole thing for Batman. You know, he's really not in a good place. And then we have the Gotham War Part 3 continued in Catwoman. Now, I don't usually pick up Catwoman, but, you know, it was part of the series, so I thought, why not? So, Vandal Savage and him have a little talk. Vandal Savage has basically bought Wayne Manor and the Batcave. So, Batman's lost everything now. And you've got Catwoman, who is training her army, preparing them up for war with Jason Todd. We have a brief thing with the Riddler helping out Batman, giving him clues as always. And then we have a big fight between Red Hood and Batman, and there's this whole big motorcycle chase, so that's pretty cool. And Batman manages to capture Jason Todd, Red Hood, and he's basically made him, I think it was at this point, he's made him a nervous wreck. He's injected him with some sort of mutated version of the fear toxin, and it means that every time his adrenaline gets high, which is usually what allows him to do all the Red Hooding, he just becomes paralysed with fear. And this storyline is heavily continued in Batman and Catwoman Gotham War Red Hood. This was a little 2-part tie-in to the Gotham War, and it recounts the story of Red Hood's life over the past 2 weeks, training up Catwoman thugs and getting into fights in bars and having an encounter with Scarecrow and just threatening people and all around being Red Hood. So, but it's basically him threatening people, and it also ties in to the Joker Man Who Stopped Laughing, which was a 12-part miniseries. Can you call it a miniseries if it's 12 issues? I'm going to call it a miniseries. A 12-issue miniseries featuring the Joker and another Joker, but it turns out that the other Joker isn't actually a clone of the Joker, or is just some guy who thinks he's a Joker, but he's not. So, there we go. Then we have Gotham War Part 4. Now, when I saw this cover, and I thought, wow, we're going to have some epic clash between Nightwing and Batman. And we don't get a lot of that straight away. Straight away, we get a couple of pages retelling Vandal Savage and how he's immortal and how he uses the Lazarus Pit, and how he's informed Ra's al Ghul about the Lazarus Pits as well. And then we cut back to Jason Todd with the fear gas, and he's like, "Have you given me fear gas?" And it's like, well, it's a backup, and it basically means that you can't fight anymore. When adrenaline gets high, your fear kicks in, and he's done this because Jason basically is willing to kill, whereas Batman's like, no crime, nothing like that. So then Nightwing and I think that's Damian Wayne. Yeah, Nightwing and Damian Wayne have a little scrap along with Tim Drake, and what happens next is basically Batman is completely cut off from everything after a small fight with Nightwing. He's cut off from everything. No Batmobile, no Batcave, no Batcomputer. He's all on his own. He's been brought right down, and there's a lot of fighting. And then, as Batman is fighting the Robins of past and present, like Nightwing, Zur-En-Arth comes in and he's like, just leave him to the cops. You gotta go. They're holding you back. And then it's revealed that Vandal Savage's daughter is working with Catwoman, but Catwoman doesn't know it, and she's been secretly trying to push for Jason Todd to be a soldier again, but of course he can't now. So she tries to talk reason into him, and he's just like, I can't. So she just leaves him. And he just becomes a weak, blubbering mess. And then Batman and Catwoman have another little talk. We get some more Vandal Savage and how he came to be where he was. And it's basically revealed that Vandal Savage and his daughter have been using Catwoman's army to produce a new League of Shadows, who will steal immortality gems that power the Lazarus Pit. So there's a whole thing going on there. And then we come to the Gotham War Part 5 with Catwoman. Part 5, 58. So there's a whole thing with Batman and Catwoman. They have this sort of, I love you, but like, I'm gonna chase you and hunt you down because you're in the wrong. Vandal Savage is just being a annoying sod in this, and he's trying to pull all the strings that he can. He's calling a meeting, I think, or something. Jason Todd's still trying to save people, but he can't do it. And then there's a lot of fighting between Vandal Savage's daughter, Catwoman. There's Batman and Catwoman working together to save Jason Todd and children, or the child, which is quite nice. And we finally get the lead into the conclusion. Vandal Savage has gathered together a whole group of villains, which looks like it includes Firefly, Killer Moth, Black Mask, Two-Face, Professor Pig, Mad Hatter, and the Toymaker. Not the Celestial Toymaker, just the normal Toymaker. And then we lead into the second tie-in for Red Hood. And then we finally have the conclusion, which I really like the title of. I've called it Scorched Earth. But before we get to that, we have Gotham War Red Hood Part 2. And that basically it's not that important overall. It just shows how Jason Todd came to be in the position he was. You've got a little sideline going on with him and Ravager, and he never shows up for his date with her, which is why, they managed to find him and so on and so forth. You got the Joker sideline as well, which again is covered in The Man Who Stopped Laughing. And then you have what really happened in the burning building with Jason Todd being attacked by Scarecrow and Joker, and then they have a little bit of a scrap, and he's like, I'm coming for you, and it's the whole Joker storyline is continued in Gotham War and then concluded in the Batman Who Stops, or the Joker Man Who Stops Laughing 12. So again, that's a good one. Finally, we get to the conclusion of the Gotham War, which was, these all came out weekly, besides Batman 136, and we're reading it, and it was quite exhilarating, really. But the long and short of it is the Robins and Batman and Catwoman, they all sort of, team up because they have to. And you got Scarecrow, you got Black Mask, Two-Face, and they're all fighting, and it's all a little bit up in the air. You got Vandal Savage fighting Batman and Catwoman, whilst you've got all the Robins and the Batgirls and Nightwings and all of that dealing with the crime on the streets. And eventually they managed to blow up the meteor or whatever, and Batman and Catwoman escape. I think. No, Batman escapes. The cat just falls into a pit. But she won't stay dead, I'm pretty sure. And then Batman basically does a classic western and drives off into the sunset with his robotic hand, which I absolutely love. He has a little scene with the Riddler, and then he just disappears, and he's never seen or heard from again. No, I'm kidding. He is seen in the next issue, but the next issue is the beginning of probably my favourite arc so far, or it's my favourite mini arc maybe, because it's been arcing for a while. Next time, or the next issue, covers the start of the Mind Bomb arc, which is quite something. So, with regards to the Gotham War, in essence, it leaves Batman completely isolated from everyone he's ever loved. And he's struggling alone with Xernar in his head, and coming out more and more and being more brutal. But he's sort of cut himself off from his family, really. And Nightwing is now the head of the Bat family. So basically, don't start an organised crime in Gotham City against Batman. So I will catch you guys in the next one.